Hey everybody, how you doing tonight? Thanks for joining me for this live stream. Haven't done one of these in a while. I think I got all the kinks worked out though. So we should be live on YouTube, Odyssey, and Float. So if you're joining me on one of those platforms, thank you. I appreciate that. And let's see here. So what I want to talk about tonight is in Coeur d'Alene on Saturday. We had there was I guess like a gay pride rally in one of the parks, and then in conjunction with that there was a Gun Delane, I think they called it. One of the Patriot groups here locally had it. Originally it was scheduled for the same time and place downtown. But the Patriot group decided to move theirs till later in the day, just to try to avoid any conflicts that might happen or come about from it. Last year there was a little bit of controversy when this Gun Delane event happened. One of my friends, actually, Casey from North Idaho Exposed, was arrested. Maybe it wasn't last year, maybe that was 2020. But recently in Coeur d'Alene for this Gun Delane event, there was a little bit of a mishap that drew some national attention. Just what happened. So this year there was more attention on it. Seemed to be some national attention on it even before it happened, which that's kind of weird to me. So what I guess what happened is some people, I don't know if you guys have heard of Patriot Front. I'm sure most of you have heard about what what happened. So there was 31 members of Patriot Front, which is an alleged white nationalist group that came into Coeur d'Alene, and they all piled into a U-Haul and were arrested on their way to this park. The U-Haul was pulled over and they were all arrested. So that's what we're going to talk about. I've got a few videos to show you, a couple of things to read, just some things to discuss. But the first thing I want to point out, I guess, before we get into those is I think it's really interesting that this is happening the same time as the January 6th hearings are happening in Congress. It just seems to me that, they started this narrative last year that patriots are, the new terrorists, that domestic terrorism is the big new threat that America faces, and they've labeled patriots in that, so as the big threat. So I think it's interesting that right as those hearings are coming on, they're really pushing this with that narrative with what happened in Coeur d'Alene. And I'll get into that, I guess, why I'm saying I'm pushing that a little bit later. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure all my streams are up real quick. I don't necessarily see that they are, but let me just get on here. Okay, so the next thing is, to me, this group doesn't really seem to fit what most white nationalist groups, at least kind of what I've seen of white nationalist group, it doesn't seem to really fit the bill of most of them that I've seen. Like what I've seen of white nationalist group. Pardon me. Just got my YouTube feed up. Alright, sorry guys, I didn't realize that the YouTube feed was not on the one I had scheduled. I don't know what happened there, but anyways, I'm glad to see you guys are following me. Looks like I'm up on Float as well, so hope everybody can see Float and Odyssey as well, so sorry for that real quick. Like I said, I haven't done this in a while. It's my first time on all three platforms like that. So when I did research on the white nationalist group that was already here, or just left, I guess, about the time I moved to this area, and then I have subsequent research on other white nationalist group, and I was a lot different then. I was a statist and believed in what the media told me and all this. They don't seem to be what I would say is the Patriot group. That doesn't seem to mix with white nationalists, because most white nationalists see government as what allows the intrusion of the, I guess, destruction of the white race or white culture or whatever you want to, however they want to frame it. But it's in their view, from the most part, from what I've seen, it's government that has allowed that and allows that, so they don't like government as part of their hatred of other races. So it seems weird to me that there's going to be a white nationalist group that is calling themselves Patriot Front. And one of the videos I'm going to he'll get into that a little bit. He's a former, I guess, intelligence agent, special ops guy. So he's gonna get into a little bit of that. So I won't get into the whole. He explains it much better than I do. Yeah, they've been called all sorts of things, Jack. Proud Boys. The main thing is, what the media around here and most of the national media I've heard mention it, is the Patriot Front, and that's, I think, like other people have mentioned that. That's what the police were saying. But the other thing that just smells weird to this about this to me is, like, if all these people came from out of town, like, why did they have to come to Coeur d'Alene? I mean, think about that. Like, what was their reasoning for coming to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho? If a bunch of them, I mean, the group is out of Texas, is where it's, I guess, was founded. But these people came from all over. There was two, I guess the closest people, there was one guy from Spokane, and there was two from, like, southern Idaho, but the rest were from out of the area. And the ones from southern Idaho, I mean, that's a long ways away. It's not an easy drive to get up here. It's a long drive. So my point is, there was another one of these pride events in Spokane the same day, so I'm sure, and these were all across the country on Saturday, I think, and will be maybe all month. I don't really know. I don't really pay attention to it, but it seems to me that's the case, then why would they pass up all these other ones to come to Coeur d'Alene? Like, that just seems kind of fishy to me. I don't understand that, I guess. But maybe someone else can explain that to me. I don't know. But that's just something I wanted to point out too. Right? Yeah, construction of soul. I would agree. That's pretty much why. I mean, there's a narrative, and North Idaho is known to, I guess, harbor patriots. So, anyhow. And, I guess as far as I just want to say real quick, I had a really hard time. I did go down to Coeur d'Alene after this event, or after this happened, with my friend Simon, who is on the Spokanearchy show with me, and his daughter. And the Pride event was already over, but we did go over to where the Patriot thing was going on, and some of the things that we heard when we walked up, they weren't very welcoming. Let me just say that. Actually, I think they said you're not welcome, not specifically to us, but to other people. And I just want to say, Chad from North Country Off Grid, he did mention at the end of a video he put out today that I'm going to play a little bit of, that there were some lessons learned here locally, I think, from these two different groups, and I think that's important. You get so caught up in this two-party paradigm, where we're just focusing on these other people are trying to change my way of life, and this agenda is happening, and we forget that we're all individuals, and in this, like, two-party paradigm, this divide and conquer thing, if somebody is looking for help or looking for a community and they believe in the state and politics, they're going to pick one of those two naturally, especially as divisive as things are right now. And so people need to remember, though, like, I don't agree with people taking my money from me or taking anyone's money from them through taxes, which, is theft, and extortion is better for it. It's a type of theft. But putting that towards a public education system where people are forced to send their kids under the threat of violence. I know people that talk about they've had threats from trying to pull their kids from school and not send them from the school districts around here. So, it's not like they won't allow you to send your kids there. You have to send them to some sort of accredited school, or they're going to, use some force on you. You got to get that brainwashing in. So if I have to pay for that, then in the schools, I don't want to hear anything other than, like, reading, writing, math, and science, like real science, not like this fake feeling science. So I guess that's my take on that. Trying to follow some of the chat here, guys, too, but I just got some notes. I'm trying to mention some things that I wanted to talk about. So as long as you're not, I don't really care what you do, honestly. I don't, some people have talked about like, oh, well, I don't wear my sexuality on my sleeve, or, okay, well, that's great for you. Maybe some other people do want to wear their sexuality on their sleeve. But the main thing is, are they trying to force that down my throat and especially with extorted money? Are they trying to force that down our throats? And that's not okay. Like, just do what you got to do, man. Who cares? Like, no one's gonna bug you if you don't try to like force it down our throats with our own money in our schools and things like that. Like, I mean, you should be pulling your kids from schools so this doesn't happen. That's really the only solution. But I'm just saying, as long as people aren't violating the non-aggression principle, then why are you worried about it? Let them do what they want to do, and if you don't like it, just talk to your kids about it and tell them why you don't like it. Seems pretty simple to me, but we get caught up in these, just, oh, well, your agenda is this and your agenda is this. And then we forget that these are people within our community and we need to go talk to them. I think when you go and just have a conversation like, hey, why are you upset? Why do you feel like you need to come out here and say, I need free speech, I'm being oppressed? Like, what makes you feel like you're being oppressed? Let's have a conversation rather than just what we're doing. What we're doing doesn't really seem to be working, I guess. That's my point. We just seem to be getting more divisive. So I'll move on from that. So from Chad's video here, maybe I'll play a little bit of it at the end, but he did update that. So there was a tip, a call-in from an observant citizen that tipped the police and the sheriff's department off to this. Which, okay, whatever. We'll get we can get the 911 call for that from a public records request and see who it was, all that kind of stuff. Listen to the call, have some fun with that. But one of the other things he said was the van was pulled over within 6 minutes of it leaving its location where they all piled into it, which, I mean, it's not very far. Coeur d'Alene's not a very big city. It's just a little town, maybe 35, 40,000. So it's not that big of a deal. 6-minute drive from wherever they might have been. That's not a big deal. But what kind of, I guess there were a lot of police out there, so that could help explain it. But it just seems to me that it only took them 6 minutes to locate this U-Haul and pull it over. From the time it left, they got the call. Like, somebody noticed these people piling in the U-Haul, called 911. And from that time until they pulled it over, it was only 6 minutes. That's a pretty good response time. Like I said, I guess, they were driving down the main drag and there was a heavy police presence. So maybe it's not that out of the realm of possibility, but I guess that's just what I do. Okay. All right. So I guess that's it as far as just what I wanted to say there. So I'm going to go ahead and just move ahead to a couple of videos. One of the first ones, my friend Casey from North Idaho Exposed, he was there just videoing what was happening with the Pride in the Park. I guess that's what it's called. That's what his video is. And all these are linked in the description of the video that you're watching right now. They should actually all be in there already. So if you want to check out any of the full videos, I'm probably not going to play them all, but I just think part of this one from Casey's video here is kind of interesting, so I'm going to start out with that. Let me go ahead and get it set up, check out. Right, Jack, yeah, you better sue U-Haul. They did make the cops look like heroes, Rocky Shepard, and we're going to get into that as well. Thanks for joining me, guys. Appreciate that. Get us pulled up here. All right, so this is some North Idaho Exposed footage from the Pride in the Park. I just thought this was a good thing to start it out with here. The sign says, "So much pride in freedom of speech. Exist louder." Just in case you can't see that or read. Anyhow, so let me play a little bit of it, because the reason I wanted to start with this is what you're going to see in the video. I thought was kind of contradictory to their sign here. So I want to know what you guys have to say about that. All right, so I don't necessarily need to. I'll just let it play in the background for a little while. I just thought it was interesting, that sign that I showed at the beginning there, and then they're trying to like stop his speech. They're not allowing him to have freedom of speech when that's what they're saying is have freedom of speech. So I just thought that was interesting. So I hope you guys saw the irony of that. This is just a guy talking out. He's actually pretty polite too. They ask him to turn down his speaker. It's actually what he's doing right now.
It definitely.
Yeah.
I can turn it down. I'll turn it down a little
See, they asked him to turn it down. He's just preaching, and you know they don't like what he has to say. So again, they're kind of blocking him off, and all groups do this. I've seen. Hey, John Denicola. I've seen other groups do this, like Patriot groups do this. They did it in an event I was at in Spokane downtown. I just don't get it. Just let people walk around with their sign. What does it hurt? You're just drawing attention to them by going over and doing this stuff, in my opinion. I didn't catch the chief of police interview. Well, I heard like excerpts from it on the radio today. Right, Anarchy Television. It is like watching the fall of Rome. So the next thing I want to show, because this happened, I believe, before the arrests took place. Well, the other arrests, because this arrest did not get any attention. So that they're just they didn't arrest this guy. I think they're just telling him to get out. Nobody wants him there, which seems weird to me. He shouldn't have to leave. He should be able to be there. Doesn't matter if they like what he's saying or not. That's just how it works when you're in public. Unless he's making threats or something like that. Okay, so we got a couple of armed people here. I think this looks like a female here. I'm not really sure though. Maybe not, I guess. I don't know. I ain't trying to judge. And so now this other one here is being arrested. Just gonna try to get to where they talk about why they were arrested.
Professional courtesy.
So Casey gets now. They're starting to get a little attention. So some of the people from the Pride event came over here to kind of try to block Casey from filming, even though he tries to help him later on. It's kind of weird. Okay, so yeah, here they're going to start. His friends are going to start trying to figure out where they're taking him, what the charges are, and try to like get him to. The investigation's over though.
Did you see the
Ma'am,
Oh, whoa.
please, yeah,
Can
please.
you not?
So he just said, we saw you arrested a trans person, and this is the person that keeps getting in Casey's way here. I guess she just kind of backed up into it.
Back into me?
Yep,
like that?
you're
what I'm trying to do.
You're trying to get in my way.
Somebody else
Nice
saw
try, though.
That
Talentita said
ultimately helps
hi.
him. I'd like to talk to that
So
person.
why do you assume that he's correct?
Because there were several other witnesses that said something else.
So were they all right-wingers in cars that were
You're asking me
probably
to subjectify somebody, and I'm not
Well, you're
gonna
just
do it.
arresting
This
her,
is that
so that's
division
not
I was
really-
talking about.
I'm asking you if you guys witnessed anything, and from what I can tell, that's no. Is that correct? Because I do want to get all points of what happened.
So is she getting taken to a station?
So this is the thing, these people don't like police, yet they're trying to rely on the
I'm not
police.
the one making
I
that
don't get it.
so
I shouldn't say they don't
point, I
like
think
police,
they're
but
gonna
in
go
general
into
they are anti-police, which I'm for that.
Processing there. So
Okay. What was the damage that was allegedly done to the vehicle?
again, that's part of the investigation.
So somebody might have touched a car, or they
It's
might
all
have
part of the investigation now.
blown on it, or.
So if somebody touched a car, you could say that they
It
were
was
also.
alleged more than a touch, so I will help.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean they're asking questions. I love to ask cops questions, so they're good there. But it's just like they're trying to get him to conduct an investigation, and the dude's already taken to a cage. At this point, you need to go to the cage, go to the dungeon, and try to get your friend out of the dungeon rather than sit here and hassle this dude, because honestly, I mean, unless you're just really going to shame the crap out of him, which you're not doing a very good job of, you might as well go get your friend out of the cage. I can speak for it. It's not very fun being in those dungeons, so try to get your friends out there as soon as you can. Right, Daniel. Okay, so the next video I want to show here is, let me just kind of get it pulled up. This guy, Jeffrey Prather, said his video is titled Idaho Influence Op Intel. And he just kind of goes through, he breaks it down pretty good about why he thinks that this is like an FBI operation, or at least obviously a government operation. And he mentions some good things that we can talk about after this video here. Hey, what's up, Chad? How are you doing?
Hey everybody, hope you are having a blessed Sunday or Sabbath. Didn't want to do an update today, but keep getting so much input on this issue that I thought I would. So we were very aware of the Idaho false flag coming. So we're a lot of people, and it was clearly a false flag. But I just wanted to update people on this. So people have been sending me the false flag. So here are the Patriot Front guys. They are, as many folks have pointed out, in the same outfit as FBI Academy grads. And that's kind of funny. But then they're in the grass here. And they've been around for quite some time, and everybody recognizes it's a false flag. But the understanding of what it's about, the influence operation that it's about, is less. Sure. So they're on nice grass. They're not, at night alongside a real road stop. There's lots of people walking by. So this is clearly a staged event. They've got all kinds of law enforcement there, and they had the so-called neo-Nazi Patriot Front group in Coeur d'Alene because they were going to counter the prayer rally. And the prayer rally was about the drag queen trannies grooming kids who were coming to Coeur d'Alene, and the unbaptisms and all that happened. So this here is a police captain saying, well, we found them, we got them, they had shields and spears, so we got to stop them there. And they're saying, well, how did we find them? Well, we had an informant. Well, newsflash, hot tip, if you're a case officer or a tactical agent handler or a special agent with an informant or a detective.
Sorry, I'm going to speed it up so we try to get through it a little bit quicker.
Or narc with a CI, you don't tell anybody because you want to protect sources and methods. So, the Coeur d'Alene police say we had an informant in there, so they burned their source and methods because this is all very staged. It's obvious that it's staged, but what is less obvious is why this is. So, so everybody you see here, the 31 members of the 300 nationwide strong Patriot Front, note front as in storefront, front operation, the Anti-Defamation League and the...
Language is really important. I can't stress that enough. Like I said, Patriot. So here, let me just do this real quick while I have this video stop. Let's look up. So the common definition of Patriot, this is what's widely accepted right here. Patriot, this is just on DuckDuckGo, type in definition of Patriot. One who loves, supports, and defends one country. A person who loves his country and zealously supports and defends it and its interests. One who loves his country and zealously supports its authority and interests. So, the Patriot Front, like if they're a white nationalist group, like I said, a lot of times, from my experience, people who are white nationalists don't like government because they believe it's what's allowing other races to come in and ruin its force on people is what's allowing other races to come in and ruin white culture. So the Patriot thing doesn't really seem to fit with the white nationalist thing, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong there, but you can look up these other definitions that'll kind of show the same thing. All right, so I'm going to keep playing this a little bit because now when he's going to really start getting into
Southern
talking
Poverty Law
about...
Center credit them with 80 to 90% of the racist activities in the United States. And of course, this is the FBI or the FBI who are running academy grads. Again, they're in the exact same outfit we wore at DEA. We were there. We had gray polos, black cargo pants, and black boots, and they walked around in their khakis and their powder blue shirts. And then there was the red shirted academy guys, the police guys. But everybody in this, nobody is from Idaho. They're all staged. So this is a Fed-run operation, a false front Fed, and Fed-sponsored here. This is Blantifa, BLM Antifa, training up, grooming kids. And this is building their legend, building their backstop legend that this group is going on. But it's less understood why. And so if you look again at the cops, you'll notice something interesting here, and that is that although they're tacked out, they're all tacked out, there are very few long guns among them. So if you remember my tweet from last week, where I said when the public realizes that Uvalde was planned and McConaughey cast because he's already started the movie about dead kids just to disarm Americans, they'll hang the Hillary Obama gang from street lamps, and they will. But you'll see that these TAC teams, they got armor on, they got all kinds of armor, shin armor, forearm armor, but very few long guns. So again, the message of the influence operation that the FBI, which is really got part of the FBI Foreign Counterintelligence Activity, FCI, which is really part of the CIA, which is really part of the Intelligence Committee, which is really part of the deep state. The influence operation was that a whole bunch of good guys with guns couldn't stop a bad guy with a gun. Therefore, we need to disarm citizens with guns. That was the influence operation message. The new message here is, look, we're good guys. We're talking to you, and we're getting the bad neo-Nazis, and we don't have long guns. So forget about that last message. That's what's really going on here. The less obvious message is cop without long guns, stop bad guys with arms. And this is the motive to counter the failed Uvalde false flag message that rifled good guys can't stop rifled bad guys. So that's very important to understand. But the analysis is even more important. That is, the FBI are running covert international fifth generation information influence operations, psychological operations. Remember, I served in PRCYCoin group, served in special forces, served in DEA, served in DIA, served in tier 1 special operations intelligence. Just as the ATF ran covert international gun running ops to arm America's enemies, the FBI ran covert international 5G influence information operations to disarm Americans. That is the new message. The key intelligence indicators here are heavily armored and kitted cops, mostly without rifles. So you don't put on all that kit without your long gun because you're looking for trouble. Cops admit informant alerted cops. So you wouldn't, a real operation, you wouldn't give up your sources and methods. As I said, legitimate case officers, tactical agent handlers, special agents, investigators, detectives don't protect their sources and methods. So in tradecraft terms, this is called backstopping your legend. So they're building this up right now. They're building up the whole thing about white supremacy going on. That's all to build up the image that America is a racist nation, so that they can go along with their DHS prediction that this summer there's going to be white supremacist Nazis. Of course, they're importing real Nazis from Ukraine, from the 46 U.S. biolabs in Ukraine that have now come out to continue their script. But fear not. This will fail, just like the Fast and Furious script failed. So I delineated all this on my Twitter, and I wasn't going to do something on Sunday on Sabbath, but so many people were, and I appreciate you getting the intelligence out there and your good analysis, but this is really important that you understand what they are doing here and why they are doing it. So it's not, it's very, very serious that the FBI are...
Okay, like you said, this is important. I agree with a lot of what he says here. I'll talk about what I don't agree with at the end, but I think that this is really important to get this view.
Running information influence operations because they're supposed to be a foreign counterintelligence organization, a counterterrorism organization, and a federal law enforcement organization. Just like ATF is not supposed to be an international gun running organization, but that's what they became. That's how I become a whistleblower. So, they ran almost 3,000 guns with no chain of custody. So there could be no legitimate case later on. So again, when I ran reverse drug operations, I had to sell real cocaine, so there was a real crime, and I had to stop and take the cocaine off. That's called walling them off, and then put the cocaine to evidence, send it to the drug lab, and then so I could present it in court. Otherwise, I would be a drug dealer. And so the defense attorney would say, well, what's the difference between my client and you? Because you sold him coke, he sold that coke to kids and moms, and now it's out there enslaving people. So what's the difference? And the answer would be there is no difference. So it's very important to understand that they are doing entrapment. And in my day, entrapment was illegal. Now it's standard operating practice.
All right, he kind of just gets into some BS there, so we can go ahead and stop that. But I thought that was a pretty good breakdown, and especially what he talked about there at the end. These are all influence operations to shape the hearts and minds of people. And what's going on, at least in my opinion, it seems pretty clear to that. None of this seemed organic. Like I said, why are people coming from outside of this area, specifically to Coeur d'Alene? I mean, there's a reason they're coming to Coeur d'Alene. North Idaho is a stronghold of people that are willing to say no and stand up to government. I can vouch for that. I live just across the imaginary line in Washington, and it's quite different over here. So there's a reason they're doing this in Coeur d'Alene. And, part of it fits the narrative. Like I said, it's going right along with the January 6th thing. So anyways, moving on. The other thing I think is really important about this, the sheriff of Kootenai County has not made a very good impression since he started. Not too long after he took office, he pulled mace on a guy who was just standing on the sidewalk recording a stop, just walking up behind the car. He didn't even get that close. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Unless they have it taped off, he can walk wherever he wants. He can't just walk right up on someone like that. And because they're armed people, you should kind of keep your distance, figure out what their good shooting range is and keep outside of that. Seems pretty smart if you want to live. But anyhow, he pulled mace on the guy, and that was kind of controversial. So before I play this video here, I just want to read this real quick. I knew that he came from LA County, from the sheriff's department there. But I think this is kind of important, especially based on what you just heard there. Let me get it pulled up. So right here, after 9/11, Norris was selected to lead a team of the newly created Joint Regional Intelligence Center to assist the United States during the War on Terror. Norris held SCI and was responsible for managing personnel and resources from local, state, and federal agencies such as the FBI, CIA, and the U.S. Attorney's Office while under the direction of Condoleezza Rice. Then after leaving there, he was promoted to lieutenant of the LA Sheriff's Department. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I always question people that come from the military, and especially people that are involved with the three-letter agencies in any shape or fashion, whether it's just consulting or anything. I'm sorry, I can't really trust them. Not to say that they don't have important things to say. I guess that's what I want to say about this other guy, Jeffrey Prather. One of the things he said, I don't think he mentioned it in the part I played, but I think he mentioned it back here, is he basically says, it's kind of like the QAnon thing to me. He basically is like, don't worry about it. It's taken care of. This isn't going to work, is what he says about this PSYOP thing here. That it's not going to work, so you don't have to worry about it. I disagree with that. I think it already did work. I've been listening to the media around here and what they've been saying. I think it worked. So to me, that's kind of him. He's either still an agent trying to take people like us that listen to these kind of things and understand these psychological operations that are constantly happening and trying to swing us back into, don't worry, we just got to get the right people in government and the right people in these positions of force, and then everything will be okay. Right? I agree. It's a distraction. It takes people that should be active and standing up to their government and makes them complacent. All these psyops do, in my opinion. Okay, so real quick, just want to play this. Sheriff Norris here. This is channel Audit CDA Idaho. So basically, he's a cop watcher, more or less, and he caught this on video. He was there. Actually, you can see Chad from North Country Off Grid. You can see him in some of this guy's videos. But this little interaction with Sheriff Norris, the second time Norris just acts like a complete tyrant like this.
What law was violated, Sheriff Norris? What law was violated?
Not this close. It'll be in the backseat of my police car.
Why is that?
That's all I'm going to say.
What law have I broken? I'm asking you, what law was broken here? Everyone out here knows you're arresting feds. It's a big show for the media.
We do think that. We do.
What?
You said you're
You get it?
We agree.
You guys get it?
No, absolutely.
He's threatening to put me in. He's threatening to arrest me. For what? For what, tyrant? For speaking? For asking you a question?
I appreciate what they're doing, honestly, sir. They're doing a great job. They're letting you walk, so why would you make a problem out of that?
I'm asking him what law was broken. Don't you?
This is the problem right here. I just got to stop that. You know me. A couple of people are like, yeah, I agree with you. This is a show that they're part of. And then this guy like, dude, honestly, they're letting you watch. They're letting you watch? What do you mean they're letting you? No, he's actually there watching. They're not letting him do anything. He's doing it because he's a free man. That mentality is part of the problem. Like, oh, well, just who? They're letting you do it. Like, no, dude, they have to. He's not doing anything wrong. Yeah, I'll play a little more of that here.
Deputy.
So I think this is the video here. It's kind of interesting. Oh no, this is the one. I apologize. Let me play this video.
These are not very sophisticated people, as you can see. They don't understand not just being used as a prop for the news media. This is all a stage show here. There's a face. There's a face there. I guarantee they're not going to show all these faces.
Well, there's two of them on this end that I'm wondering if I know. Can I pick the order? I'm going to get unmasked.
They did, for the record, to my knowledge, they did show most of their faces from a lot of the different footage I've seen. You can see some guy right here. They got his face. But the other thing that guy pointed out, I agree with. The other video is watch the police as he goes up and down the line here. Now, if these guys, they thought they were an actual threat and they had guns, so it's really going to be key what the 911 call says. If they thought they had guns, why aren't any of these cops, why don't any of them really have guns? There's a couple, if you pay attention, there's a couple of the like tear gas guns, and they all have, of course, their pistols, their handguns, but there's no like rifles, no ARs, anything like that, which we know is an effective weapon.
Hey, look, it's Bruce Willis. Hey, Bruce Willis. Let's check out Bruce Willis, man. What's up, Bruce? You get an autograph? Can I get an autograph? Get this thing to focus in. I don't know if you can see Bruce or not. If this thing is focusing in, it's supposed to be an automatic.
Alright, so there's those two videos there. There's some other interesting parts there. Here's Chad from North Country Off-Grid. He was in the chat earlier on the YouTube channel. I don't know if he's still
Solid
in there.
stop by Idaho law enforcement. Check this out. These guys stopped a U-Haul full of dudes, masked up.
Oh, come on
So
now.
my son got me this weird new tool for Father's Day.
I
And at
guess we're
first,
making Chad a
I
little,
thought it looked
like
kind
a
of crazy.
100th of a penny right there. You're welcome. So there's more footage of the Patriot front. Chad got some really good footage of them there. Thank you for that, Chad. Throw the...
It's like matching hats, matching insignia on the back. All wearing blue, khakis, and clearly
throw the
clan
link to
hoods.
that up on the chat as well. I don't know why it didn't just copy. I had it in the description. Anyhow.
Oh, come on, man. They arrested Wild Bill. Good grab, Sheriff. Good job. Guys, they stopped in the U-Haul in the middle of the road here.
This is initial reaction from Chad as it happened, and Well, it looks like the cops did their job. They're tasked with keeping us safe.
Looks like they're emptying pockets over here on the hood.
So,
Construction of Soul says those are
we got to get back there. That guy, this guy right here, his face in there again. It's my understanding from another video I watched today that he is the founder of the Patriot Front group. Allegedly, according to what I saw earlier today, he started it while he was a teenager. So that sounds very suspect to me. I haven't even had a chance to do any research on him yet, but apparently, just from what little I've already done, he might have some ties to some agencies. So there is that. Go ahead and let this play a little bit more. But Chad did have a video that he posted some updates, so I'm also going to play a little bit of that for you guys. And then we'll just do a little bit of discussion here. Here we go. So here's his update video. Oh man, I didn't just do that, did I? I did. My bad, y'all. Sorry about that.
Back to the channel today. I'm going to give you guys a couple of updates on the legal ongoings of what took place in the park this week and the things that you saw. Mostly with Patriot Front is what you guys are probably here for, to figure out what happened to them. I have the information on it, so I'm going to give it to you. I'm also going to give you guys some updates on the Pride event park, basically the whole event in its entirety and how it finished out the evening. So we'll make it kind of a quick video, hit on all of the topics. You guys have any questions, throw them in the comments below, and I might answer them. Okay, so first off, confirmed Patriot Front members, 31 members were arrested. That's who you saw coming out of the back of the U-Haul. They were arrested and charged with conspiracy to riot. You guys are gonna see me looking down. I took notes. I don't generally do it, and I apologize because, you know, I just winged the thing, but we're taking notes so I kind of give you guys the facts. So charged with conspiracy to riot. The original stop came from what police later said was a tip from someone who saw 20-some guys pile in a van. Looked like a, U-Haul, looked like a small army was the quote given. So that was the initial call-in, was from an observant citizen. The U-Haul made its way downtown. They were almost there, guys. From their destination, they were in that vehicle. 30 more seconds, they would have reached their destination of where they were planning on piling out. So police seen them come in, made a stop, and arrested all of them. Inside the U-Haul, they did find an op order. That's an operational order. It's a plan. Basically, you're outlining your objective, your goals, contingencies. It's a planned event. They found the proof of it, and with that, they feel confident in giving them the charge of conspiracy to riot. Now, I will say, as of right now, all these guys are out. They were arrested on a misdemeanor. Their bond was very minimal. It's a misdemeanor charge, so they're already arrested and released. A couple overnighters in jail. Now, in the video, one of the officers did say that they had an informant in the group. He later said, and I don't know if I got it on video at another time because it went live a couple of times, but he later made the comment that we have informants in all of the groups in this area. The comment was sort of made seemingly tongue-in-cheek, just kind of a jab, I think, to throw it out there. Misinformation, if you will. But that was the rumor of the informant originally that was heard in the first video. So plan and a target, according to them, their plan was to get out at City Park, which was where the Pride Festival, Pride Parade was taking. It wasn't a parade, it was Pride Day in the park. They weren't actually going anywhere, they were stationary. Patriot Front was kind of the lifeblood of the city. That's where the hustle and bustle is.
Just kind of get to another part here.
The Pride in the park. That would have been an event for a lot of people. Probably would have made a lot of people uneasy to watch these masked guys with shields and spears, I believe is what was reported. Makeshift spears. Anyway, they would have taken their event to Sherman, so I guess their intention was then to parade down Sherman in this group with this group. But here's the issue, guys, that I have with Patriot Front's completely different outcome than the outcome that we did in fact have, which was pretty much peaceful.
Okay, so I just wanted to give you basically the update there. So yeah, I'd like to do some public records requests myself based on some of the information that Chad shared there. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a records request for the 911 call, as well as the documents involved in there the op order he talked about. I wanted to take a look at that, but a lot of this stuff they probably won't release until after their investigation is done or the court case is done. I'll have to look and see exactly what the rules are in Idaho. Like in Washington, they can always claim that, oh, investigation's going on, so we can't send it out. But I think it's a little bit different in Idaho. They tend to be a little more responsive to the people because the people don't put up with it. So Richie Vieira, I'm going to do a public records request on that 911 call and I'll just get everything, all the documents that are part of the investigation, and we'll get those when they send them to me. Like I said, I probably won't get those right away. Right? True that, Anarchy Television. I am going to do some other records requests, though. I'd like to do some records requests for, like, emails between, like, the Sheriff's Department and, just with the Sheriff's Department and the Coeur d'Alene Police to see if there were any communications before this went down. Because if they're saying they responded from a 911 call, but maybe they got a tip beforehand from an informant, I don't know. It seems to me like a little fishy there. They should. I don't like using these things for optics. If you got a tip and you know something's happening, just go down there where it's happening and stop it right, like when they're getting in the U-Haul. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. Obviously, there should be body cam footage from that first arrest too. I'd like to get the body cam footage from that first arrest. Like I said, the one. Back here on North Idaho Exposed channel here of this person, and see actually what they were arrested for, what happened. This person here. I believe they were armed. I don't know if they had. I don't think this person had a gun. I think they just had like a knife maybe. But they said he touched someone's car or like assaulted or damaged someone's car. There's the other person with a gun right there. That person had a mask. I don't know. Whatever. Do what you want, I guess.
Do you know if they're being arrested?
Looks like that. I don't know for sure. I've been research, so it looks like
yeah. I don't doubt that, Tom. I do have some questions there. I won't lie.
Thank you.
I mean, a lot of people thought things were going to go down. Some friends of mine that I told I was going down there, they didn't want me to go. So anyways, that's the other arrest there. So real quick, let's just have a little discussion. I got the chat up. If anybody wants to make any other recommendations, so like I said, I'll get some email communications regarding Patriot Front, see if there was any of those. I'll check it out, Tom, for sure. I will say he did run as a politician here, so he's close to a lot of them. Chad and I disagree on some of the use of police for sure. Yeah, I do wonder. I don't know. It's not for me to wonder. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not doing anything wrong either way. Basically, to wrap it up, in my opinion, it looks to me like especially based on what this guy, Jeffrey Prather, is saying, who apparently he's a whistleblower. He used to be involved in these operations. He said he used to do like cocaine deals. So I disagree with him because this guy, Jeffrey Prather, thinks that it should be a crime to have an unlicensed business transaction. I am on DLive. I didn't go on there today. But I don't get notified. YouTube doesn't send out my notifications, KGV, so sorry about that. But I haven't been live on anything for a long time, but I'm going to start doing more of these. Tonight was the first time in a while. Right now I'm on Odyssey and YouTube. Float dropped earlier, so don't have that one anymore. But yeah, I'll be doing more, and I probably will start going to DLive as well. That is another option. No, I hear you, Tom. There were some things that he said on his video the other day and today that just made me just question a few things myself actually along those lines. So I totally hear you. I think he's a good guy. I think he means best, but he might be involved with law enforcement, and that does bother me. I don't, until law enforcement changes and actually goes against only crimes, I don't really have any way to support them because they are the enforcement branch of the service corporation known as government. So I don't really have a whole lot else to talk about tonight. Like I said, I'm going to do some public records requests, try to find out some more information about exactly who knew what before all this. I don't trust the sheriff there. Basically, Sheriff Norris was elected on the platform of I won't force masks on people, in my opinion. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. I mean, I am of the belief that unless I'm there to like document and watch things for myself, it's hard to say what's real and what isn't. I know there are a lot of agents out there from not only our government but other governments trying to do certain things. So anyhow, well, I think I'm going to cut it for tonight. I hope you guys got something from this. I'm definitely going to do some more videos, maybe some more live streams. Yeah, I did. We actually played that video. I can play it again real quick here because I thought it was a pretty good one. You get it pulled up. He had a funny interaction with the Karen there. He got called a racist and whatnot. I thought his comments were pretty funny, honestly. Yeah, here's the video of Sheriff Norris here for you guys that missed it.
What law was violated, Sheriff Norris? What law was violated? Why is that?
That's all I'm going to say.
What law have I broken? I'm asking you, what law was broken here? Everyone out here knows you're arresting feds. It's a big show for the media.
We do think that.
So that's all I'm going to play for that. Rocky Shepherd, it's a V for voluntary, and the yellow and black is the colors of voluntarism. So there you go. Oh, whoops. Yeah, you guys didn't see that, did you? Here, I'll back it up. My bad. There you go.
What law was violated? What law was violated?
He's got small man syndrome. Norris does. He's pretty short. He likes to walk around because he's got guns and all these other goons with guns backing him up. So
Norris, what law was violated?
His hat off.
No, this close. It'll be in the backseat of my police car.
Why is that?
That's all I'm going to say.
What law have I broken? I'm asking you, what law was broken here?
That is a true tyrant, authoritarian right there. Why? Why would I end up in the back of your police car? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else. I've made my threat. You better behave. That's basically what that is. That's who's in charge of defending liberty and freedom in Kootenai County. Good luck with that. No problem, y'all. Well, I hope you got some from this. I am going to make sure all these links are in the description of the video. Like I said, I'm not sure why they weren't added there. I had it all set up beforehand, and for some reason it didn't quite go through the way I had planned, but I will make sure to add them there once I close this live stream down. I did try to add as many of them as I could into the chat. You guys have an awesome rest of your evening. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the support. And always remember to self-govern. Peace.